Hey YouTube family! So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you all about some reasons why you may be sabotaging your weight loss journey, or for me personally, my health journey. These are some things that we may not always think about from day to day, but if we really stop and think about it, this may be what's slowing us down from making progress. So let's get to it. Number one, continuing to buy those weakness foods that you know are hard for you to resist, but you continue to buy them and bring them in your house as temptations. So I'll just share my little story with you all, and you might be able to relate. So the other week I was at the store, and they happened to have my favorite snack on sale for like probably 40% off of the regular price. So of course I was like, oh wow, it's on sale. Let me grab 4 boxes of these almond crackers that I have a hard time resisting. Let me buy those because they're on sale. So I bought 4 boxes of them, and yeah, that was a terrible idea because they had been a temptation for me, and I ended up eating them throughout the week when I did not even need them. And so that is why I just want to encourage you that if you have certain foods that you just haven't gotten a hold of having just a few of or a little bit of, just don't buy them. Because if you end up buying them and they're in your house, that's going to be a temptation for you and you're going to end up eating it. So whatever's in your house, make sure it's good choices that you're able to do portion control successfully, that aren't super tempting for you to where you eat a whole bunch of it and it just gets you off track. Number 2, compromising too soon before you're ready. So what I mean by this is, say you've been doing really good the past 2 weeks on your eating, you've been sticking to your plan, you've been doing everything that you're supposed to do, but then you get an invite out to eat, and then you go to this restaurant and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna take a day off and order whatever I want, and then I'll just get right back on track. Well, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes what happens is if you get off track too soon and you haven't really gotten in a good habit, then that one time where you decided to have an off day, that may lead you to a domino effect of off days because of that one decision. And so I really want to just stress here, because I've done it myself. So just talking from experience, if you don't feel like you're quite ready, if you haven't been on your lifestyle change and your new way of eating long enough, then try to avoid taking that day off as long as you can until you really get it instilled in your brain of what you're doing, and it's like a really strong habit. So, for me, I've been on this way of eating now with cutting out sugar for like 2 months now. And I actually did take my first day off after almost 2 months. So just to clarify, I've been on a no sugar diet for about 2 months now, but I've been on a gluten-free, dairy-free, and highly processed food-free diet for over 7 months. And that went well. Thankfully, I had the meal off. I took my girls, we went out for sushi for the first time. I hadn't eaten out in like 7 months. So I purposely avoided eating out for a really long time, mainly because it's easier for me to cook my own food. That way I know exactly what ingredients are in the food. And also by not eating out, it helped me to just really get in a good rhythm and get used to this new way of eating without a bunch of distractions. But the times I did have to go to a restaurant, I would just either bring my own food and let those around me know that I'm on a special diet due to health reasons, or I would just eat ahead of time, and then once I got there, just focus more on the talking and having a good time. So both of those options worked really well for me over the past 7 months. So that was the first time I had gone out, and we went out for sushi for Valentine's Day, and I was able to enjoy it, and then the very next day I got right back on track. But if I would have done that, like say after a week of just getting on my new way of eating, I probably would not have been able to get right back on track like that, because it was not a habit that was instilled in my mind. So yes, please be careful. If you have to go out to eat or whatever it is, then try your best to stay on track as close to what you've been doing rather than going way off the mark, all right? Number 3, lacking a plan. So you may be sabotaging yourself if you do not have a plan. Say, like I said, you got invited to go out to eat, or you have to go to this dinner. You don't have a choice. Well, if you end up going to that dinner, you haven't looked at the menu, you have no idea what you're gonna order, and you're just gonna wing it, chances are you're probably not going to stay on track. So my advice to you is make sure you always plan ahead, whether it be going out to eat, whether it be going on a vacation, whatever it is, make sure you have a plan and make sure it's a realistic plan that you can actually stick to. Because here's the thing, if you have a plan, I don't care how good it sounds, but if it's not realistic, if it's not something that you truly feel in your heart of hearts that you can stick to, that's gonna be pointless. So make sure you make a plan that is actually realistic, that you can actually see yourself doing so you can follow through that plan. But especially in the beginning stages, when you're trying to, lose weight, or you're on a health journey to heal from different illnesses or things like that, you have to make sure you have a plan of how you're going to stay on track. Write it down or tell somebody. My biggest thing that I do, I make sure to tell my husband, who is my accountability partner, what I'm going to be doing, what my plan is, and then I have to end up reporting to him and telling him how I did. So that has been something that has really been helpful for me in staying on track. Another way you may be sabotaging your weight loss or your health goals is by looking at this as a means to an end rather than a lifelong lifestyle change or a commitment for life. If you have like just these short-term goals, like, oh, I'm about to go on vacation, I want to get this weight off, or, let me just hurry up and do this so I can get my weight off. That's not going to sustain you. You have to really look at it different. It has to be something that, sustains you through the whole process, because, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to get the weight off. It takes time to reach your health goals, to heal from different illnesses, all those things. It takes time. And so if you're just looking at this like a short-term thing, it's not going to sustain you. So I want to encourage you to look at it different. Don't just look at it short-term. Look at it as a long, this is the way I'm going to be. This is a new me. I'm going to be changing my lifestyle so I can not only reach my goal, but so I can sustain and I can maintain my goal. Because honestly, I've worked with many women out there who, they did all these things. They started off really strong in the beginning, but then as time went on, they just ended up going back to their old ways. And that's because they just looked at it as a short-term means to an end rather than a lifestyle change. And so I just want to encourage you today to really work on changing your mindset and, committing to doing this for life rather than just for a short-term goal. And that leads me to number 5, not enjoying the journey. So it's a process. Like I said, it takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes patience. This stuff doesn't happen overnight if you do it right, and so I just really want to just remind you, be in for the long haul. I mean, think of a farmer. When they plant those seeds, do they expect those seeds to just turn into huge crops overnight? No, it takes time. They have to continue to water the crops and care for those in order for them to grow into big plants, And so we have to remember that's the same way our journey is with our health, with our weight loss. We cannot expect to just do something for like a day or a week and that we would reach our goals. It takes continually doing the same things over and over, the right habits, that is, but doing those over and over. So then over time, you will see progress. Over time, you will see the results. So, it's hard to accept that in this day and age, especially because, everything is instant. We just pop something in the microwave, which I don't have a microwave, by the way. But anyhow, we just pop something in the microwave for 30 seconds and it's done, And so that is something that we have to really remind ourselves that this is not instant. This takes time. And in that process, you're going to grow. You're going to really learn and understand yourself so you can be able to continue on with this journey. You know, if you were able to, get to your goal in a week, you didn't learn anything. How are you going to sustain that, But in the process of, 6 months, a year, over a year, you're going to learn stuff in that time frame because you had time to make mistakes. You had time to learn from your mistakes and find out what works, what doesn't work, and grow. So please look at it as a long-term journey. Enjoy the journey, and don't just look at it as, I can't wait to get to the end, because you will not be able to sustain that in the long run. And finally, you may be sabotaging your weight loss and your health goals because your whys are not big enough. So what I mean by that, why are you doing this? What are the reasons why you're trying to lose weight? What are the reasons why you're trying to cut out sugar? For me personally, the reason I decided to cut out sugar, the reason I decided to cut out gluten and dairy and processed foods, the reason I'm doing all of these things is because I have a strong desire to heal. For those of you who don't know, I have 3 autoimmune illnesses from a tick bite I got about 1.5 years ago. So I have been on a journey to heal from these autoimmune illnesses. I don't want to stay stuck. I don't want to continue to decline in my health. And so that has been my big why of why I'm making these diet changes, why I'm making these lifestyle changes, because I want to heal. I want to be able to completely be in remission. And that why has become so strong for me. Like, it helps me to say no to those temptations that come my way. For instance, if I'm out and there's some delicious looking food in my face, it's a lot easier for me to say no to that because I'm remembering that the reason I'm saying no is because I'm saying yes to my health. I'm saying yes to my healing when I say no to those foods that are going to keep me from reaching my goal. So when you're saying no to something, you're saying yes to something else. And so you want to make sure your whys are really going to be compelling enough to say no to those temptations that come your way. So what are your whys? Why do you want to do this? And make sure that those whys are going to sustain you through the process, because this takes time. You got to make sure that these whys aren't just, short term. These whys have got to be really compelling. So why are you doing this? Write it down in a journal if you have to, and look at it every day so you can be constantly reminded of why you're doing this. That is going to help you so much along the way so you can reach your goals and no longer sabotage your progress. All right, so I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope it encouraged you to really take some time to just kind of reflect and think about these things, and I hope that they will help you on your journey. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. And I would love to hear from you in the comments, just sharing what points really spoke to you today in this video. Also, what are your whys? Why are you doing this? Love to hear from you in the comments. And finally, I want to invite you to join me on this journey by clicking that subscribe button. And you can continue to get videos like this that's going to help you on your health and total wellness journey. So I really hope this video is a help to you today. And if you want to learn more about, my journey, I cut out sugar and I shared, my journey about how that's going. Be sure to check out the videos above. I'm also on Instagram at The Overcoming Woman. So if you haven't already, would love for you to follow me on there as well. All right. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and have a great week.